I didn't expect one of these robot vacuums to completely abandon half my living room, but it did. And once I saw why, it became completely obvious which one I'd actually keep in my house. Both of these are well-reviewed robot vacuum mops with incredible all-in-one stations that take care of everything from washing the robot's mops and refilling mop water to emptying the dustbin and charging the robot. Both are positioned as smart, capable robot vacuums with strong vacuuming and mopping. So instead of just running them once and calling it a day, I put them through the same routines, in the same spaces, with the same messes, to see how they'd perform in my real home. Quick reminder, if you want to check pricing or see the exact models I'm testing, I've linked both robot vacuums in the description using affiliate links. And if you like honest, real home testing instead of sponsored demonstrations in controlled sterile settings, subscribing helps me keep doing comparisons like this. I purchased both of these robot vacuum mops because of their stellar reputations and competitive price tags. My goal with robot vacuums is to test the best products and figure out which ones work in real homes like mine. I always start with mapping and navigation because that's the foundation for everything else. If a robot can't accurately understand your layout, the rest doesn't really matter. The Roborock Qrevo S5V mapped my main floor quickly with very little confusion. Rooms were correctly divided, pathways made sense, and it didn't hesitate or backtrack much once cleaning started. Coverage was very good overall. I did notice it wasn't perfect along edges and corners, especially at the beginning or end of a pass, but nothing that felt like a deal breaker. When it came to vacuuming, performance depended on settings. On carpet, even on regular suction, it did a solid job. On hard floors, regular mode left behind a little bit of fine debris, but once I bumped it up to turbo or max suction, it picked up everything I threw at it without a problem. Mopping was very good. It left floors evenly clean without streaking or overwetting, and the app experience was excellent. Everything from setting no-go zones to adjusting power levels was intuitive and responsive. Battery life was also impressive. On standard settings, it cleaned my entire 1,000-square-foot main floor and still had plenty of charge left. And even on max power, it vacuumed and mopped 950 square feet before it had to return to the station and charge. Then I moved on to the Mova P10. These two have a lot in common. The Mova was also very good at mopping and may have even handled edges and corners a little better than the Roborock. Its vacuuming was very similar also, okay on regular settings and very good on max. And its battery life was even more impressive than the Roborock, easily cleaning my 1,000-square-foot main floor on max power with battery to spare. At first, it seemed like it would be a close match. It mapped the house, recognized rooms, and vacuumed and mopped hard floors really well. But the next time I ran it, I rolled up the living room rug so it could clean the hard floor underneath, and its cracks started to show. It had mapped the areas as completely open, but without the rug, it was so confused, it treated the room like it had obstructions everywhere. It cleaned only a narrow slice of floor and then avoided the rest entirely. Nothing was there, no furniture, no cords, no rug, just open floor space that it refused to touch. I sent the Roborock in to do the job, and it had no problems. It just recognized that it was now all hard floor and cleaned accordingly. The Mova will likely need to completely remap every time I rearrange or change out a rug or a piece of furniture. It also strangely avoided my back doormat on every run, which is one of the areas I actually want cleaned the most. And then there were the thresholds. The Mova struggled to get over transitions that every other robot I own handles without hesitation. It would approach, bump, hesitate, and eventually get stuck. Sad to say, obstacle avoidance was disappointing on both, but that's pretty standard with robots at this price point. They seem to only have bump sensors, so while they'll avoid big things like chair legs and large toys, they can't reliably avoid cords, pencils, small toys, or socks. So if obstacle avoidance is your top priority, I wouldn't recommend either of these. Carpet performance is where the difference between the Mova and Roborock became really obvious. On high-pile carpet, the Roborock performed consistently. One of my favorite tests is crumpled up corn chips because they are heavy and can easily get stuck in carpet fibers. Not every vacuum handles them well, but the Roborock picked them up perfectly without scattering or dragging them around. The Mova, on the other hand, struggled. During the chip test, it missed debris and pushed chips around instead of lifting them. Some pieces got dragged across the carpet rather than picked up, which is exactly what you don't want, especially if you have kids, pets, or frequent messes. By the end of testing, the biggest difference wasn't raw power. It was consistency. The Roborock behaved predictably. It cleaned where it was supposed to, finished jobs, and didn't surprise me. The Mova felt buggy, not broken, but unreliable in ways that would get frustrating very quickly if this was my daily vacuum. I'm going to see if I can hone in on settings to make it work in my house, but if you're looking for a vacuum mop that will work right out of the box, the Roborock is absolutely a better choice. If you want links to both vacuums, they're in the description. And if this side-by-side real-world testing is helpful, hit subscribe. It's how I help you avoid expensive mistakes.